Hello, my name is Mycroft and I work with Joy in post-16 education in the UK. I mainly work with educators rather than directly with students, although I do try to keep my hand in as a teacher by working on university programmes around social purpose and social justice every other year. Mel asked me to talk about Potentia, and Potentia is a kind of power, a joyful activist power. It comes from the work of the philosopher Baruch Spinoza. He lived back in Amsterdam in the 17th century, and his work was not really recognised greatly in his lifetime or for hundreds of years afterwards. He went against the prevailing notions of the day, and he was seen as a dangerous radical because he believed, while he was a very spiritual man, he believed that God was in all of us, and that actually God was an energy which is sometimes translated as potentia, sometimes as joy, and in which the joy, the potentia, is enacted as relationships between humans and, crucially, between humans and non-humans, including inanimate objects such as rocks and non-animal animate objects such as trees. He was excommunicated for not believing in the God on a cloud, but for believing in that God in all of us, that life force that animates us, which he referred to by the Greek word Zoe. And because we have this capacity to relate to one another, to energize one another, that joyful energy when we encounter nature, when we encounter each other around shared values, he has become an absolute cornerstone of change-making work from the 20th century onwards, when philosophers such as Gilles Deleuze got hold of his ideas, retranslated and repurposed them. Spinoza was writing in Latin, and so he had two words for power at his disposal. Potentia is one, and I'll return to that. The other is potestas, and potestas is what we see as power in our lives. Structural power, hierarchical power, the sort of power that moves upwards as we get more powerful in life. He recognised the potestas all around us, and he challenged us to work with a different kind of power in order to be able to change those structures, systems, processes, and indeed cultures which stop us imagining new futures and working with hope and working differently. So potentia, he defined as a joyful, activist kind of power. We all have potentia. It's not always released in us because, and he would not have seen this, but that has become increasingly true as we live in individualized and competitive societies. When we work with people, that never works if it's competitive. So using our potentia is inherently collective, inherently joyful, that energy, that relational energy, and also inherently anti-competitive. So how does this theory work in practice? Firstly, I want to say that I truly believe that we need theory. Theory is the only way in which we can start to imagine things being different. Without theory, without different theory, we are trapped in what we think as non-theory life, just living life, upholding the structures and systems, baking the inequalities of those into everything we do. But of course there's theory behind that as well, and that theory we might broadly define as capitalism. So Potentia, joyful activist work, is anti-capitalist in its nature, and that's why we need it so much now if we are to bring people and the planet into our thinking, planning and doing, and not just continue chasing the gods of profit. In what we call further education in England, which is all post-16 and encompasses adult education, I'm going to just tell you one way in which we are enacting Potentia, releasing and enacting Potentia. So I want to tell you about the joyful collective, which is called Joy FE. Joy FE started at the beginning of the pandemic lockdown when people were frightened but had a sense of really needing community. That's how it was in the UK, certainly. And a group of educators came together across social media and we called ourselves Joy FE. And we deliberately embodied this principle of joy into our actions. So what we did was connect around a single value. We don't have a set of values written down, we just have one value, which is joy. We're starting to identify the practices of joy now, but one value. You get a group of people together, any more than one, and we will have different values set. So let's not try and connect around them all. Let's try and connect around joy. And if we clash on the others, we will be able to talk about that joyfully and together. Another really important part of Spinoza's work, and almost the thing he's more known for than joy and Potentia, is that he believed we should operate our lives according to our own affirmative internal ethics. So not the ethics of the church or the trade union or the workplace or even the family, but our own. And we should navigate via those ethics. And in Joy FE, we see amazing people who do that within an organisation, as well as freelancers like myself, nomads, who operate outside organisations. So our joyful practice plays out in lots of different ways, all of which involve coming together, not everybody, not all at once, different people at different times. The collective is not closed, it is open. Anybody can be a part of it, you can be a part of it, and we hope you will. Just search the hashtag JoyFE on social media and you will find us. We open up spaces where people can think together, explore ideas together, write together. We are joyfully affirmative in our messaging, but we intentionally resist toxic positivity. It's not about you got this and everything's going to be okay, because everything is not okay. What Spinoza taught us was that joy is baked into everything from the start. And if we can release that in individuals and through collective joyful Potentia action, release people's Potentia, we can make a start on growing the hope that we need to do things differently in the future. I hope this reaches you in time. I would love to talk more. Just search my name, search Joy FE on social media, and let's begin yet another Potentia conversation. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful celebration.